Hello, my name is Dayle. I'm also known as the Witch of YYC, and I like to talk to you guys about the ongoing spiritual war that we find ourselves in. These are my opinions, my beliefs, and my experiences, and they may or may not resonate with you. Either way, that's cool. I would love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, your opinions, comments, questions, concerns, whatever this might bring up for you, so that we can learn from each other, engage in the conversation, and build the community and work together, because that's what it's about. Okay. So today, I want to talk about this form of spiritual protection known as the familiar. You may already be familiar with familiars, or this might be a topic and concept that is completely new to you, but we're going to get into it. Okay. So I consider the familiar to be a form of spiritual protection, but also spiritual guidance. And I'll explain what that means. But first, I want to talk about how we are spiritual beings in this physical manifestation and material realm. We come here as human beings, and it's like we agree to certain parameters or rules or laws about how this place works. And with that come certain limitations, boundaries, barriers, and create this construct of what we believe is possible and how we can manipulate time and space. And whoa, there was some thunder. I don't know if you heard that, but that was kind of cool. And as an example, one of these limitations is how we perceive light. And when we take in this information, this data through our eyes, how that helps us to construct and make sense of the material realm, like what this pillow looks like and how this wall is structured and things like that. Okay. But the human visible spectrum is really just this sliver, like this narrow sliver of the full complete spectrum, the light spectrum. And scientists have proved that certain animals and creatures, other kinds of creatures, have a different spectrum, visible spectrum available to them. So if we think of cats, for example, we know that they perceive things outside of what we perceive. And that's just based on how, their rods and cones and how their eyes are shaped and how their brains interpret the information and things like that. And we also know that under certain influences, different plant medicines and things like that, our vision and our visual abilities shift and expand and change as well. Okay. So that's an example of what these physical limitations look like, but how they can change and morph, and how just because we have a certain experience doesn't mean that we are actually tied into that experience. And like I mentioned, cats can see outside of the human visual spectrum. They can hear frequencies beyond what we can hear as well. What we're perceiving is not necessarily everything that this place is made up of. And that's why having a familiar, I think, is so important, because they can show us, they can teach us, they can perceive for us as well. Okay. So what is a familiar? Maybe you already know, but a familiar, maybe you've watched movies with like witches or vampires, and they have familiars, whether they be human or creatures, other kinds of creatures, animals, that sort of thing. Typically, though, a familiar is going to be an animal, a creature, some sort of non-human entity that you have bonded with and work with in a spiritual or paranormal, metaphysical capacity. And the reason you do that is because they can, like I said, they can perceive things outside of what you can perceive. They can teach you how to manipulate this realm, how to work within this realm. They will serve as protection. They help to transmute energy. There are a number of benefits and reasons to have a familiar in your life, as well as just, companionship and support. So personally, right now, I have two familiars, two black cats, as a good witch should, and they are extremely helpful to me with my practice. So I've had other familiars in the past, such as a tarantula. I had a tarantula named Wolfie for a while. I've had other cats. I identify and resonate and connect with cats pretty well, so it's typically been cats for me. Spiders, tarantulas as well. I think those are the two, but your familiar can be anything that you resonate with, that you speak to, that you feel connected to on whatever frequency and vibration. Dogs, wolves, fish, any kind of insect, creature, snake, you name it. Birds are great familiars. I think of like hawks and ravens, falcons, owls. The list goes on, and it's really individual and it's personal, and it's about your expression, your practice, and what you connect with, and also the kind of energy that you're drawing into your life and that you need. Okay, so I think a bird as a familiar would be amazing because they bring in that higher perspective, freedom, all those kinds of things. For me, I really love cats because they have like this mystical energy to them, this psychic energy, this way of bridging the unseen realms. Cats, I've heard before, cats are guardians of the underworld. Cats have the ability to, like, they are living in between the realms already. Like, there's this Venn diagram of dimensions, and cats are in the middle. They perceive things that we don't perceive. If you've ever seen your cat staring at the corner of the wall in the room, and you think that they're not looking at something, they are seeing something. Their visible spectrum is beyond ours, and they are definitely seeing something. There have been times when I have seen shadows, entities, and my attention is tracking it, and I've noticed that my cat is tracking the same thing that I am. That's like just beyond the vision, but I think that they're seeing it a lot clearer than I am. And that is why familiars are such great spiritual protection, because they can see beyond this 3D reality. They can see things and perceive things. They're much more sensitive to energies and shifts in energy. I know people who swear by their pets' ability to assess someone that's coming into their house, to discern whether that person has good energy, whether they are safe, if there's something that they need to be concerned about. A cat or a dog is going to let you know. And there are so many people, whether they are consider themselves spiritual or not, that really will use their pets in this way, and listen to their reactions, watch their reactions, and use that as information. It's very, very cool and totally on point, because they are sensitive to that and are picking up on things that we might not necessarily pick up on, or they serve as confirmation. If you have a feeling about a place or a person, or let's say you buy something at the thrift store and you bring it home and your cat is acting really weird around it. Well, it probably has some residual energy on it that needs to be cleared. So your familiar is going to protect you in that sense. And the more that you know them and understand their reactions, the more you are going to benefit from that relationship. They are also going to protect you within the spiritual realms, within the astral. People, when we're dreaming, we're not just dreaming. Again, my opinion, but also based on my experience and working with people with their dream time. There is a lot of stuff going on in the dreams, whether you are traveling to different astral realms, working with different kinds of entities, energies, things like that, different times and spaces and places. And your familiars are going to travel with you. I've had many dreams where my cats are with me and they're alerting me to certain things, or they're, keeping me protected, both in my dreams and in this material realm. So I've had examples where I am dreaming, and whether I'm experiencing a psychic attack during my dream or something like that, my cats will wake me up. This has happened before many times, where they sense that something is happening. Maybe they don't even sense it, but they're fully aware, like they know that something is happening to me, and that I need to wake up or be taken out of that space. And either they'll be sitting on my chest, pawing at my face, making some sort of a ruckus. My one cat, Moses, I woke up to him one night getting one of my protection bracelets off of the dresser, which he would, this is not typical behavior for him. I leave my beads, I leave everything, and they don't touch them. But there was this one night in particular where he took one of my protection bracelets off of my dresser, pulled it down, and woke me up. And so I put it on, and there it stayed until it literally fell off. But that was an example of how my familiar was alerted and aware of something that was happening to me outside of this realm, and was there to support. Without him, it would have been different. And who knows what would have happened if I would have stayed in that sleeping state and continued in that dream or that astral space where I was at. Okay. So that's another example. What else? So spiritual guidance as well. So I have noticed that my cats, the one Lilith in particular, meditate and do a lot of spiritual hygiene and cleansing and taking care of their auras, their fields, their energy, making sure that they're getting adequate sleep, exercise, all of those things, and taking the time to reconnect to themselves. And this, I don't know, maybe that sounds a little crazy, but I have absolutely witnessed my cats meditating. And that's something that serves as a reminder to me that, okay, if my cats are doing all of this work and I'm doing all of this work, then I need to be on top of my spiritual hygiene, my regulation as well. And I love that. I love that they do that. Another example is there was this one time I was meditating. My cats actually meditate with me as well, or if I'm doing yoga, anything like that. They love being in that energy. And there was this one time I was meditating, laying down in bed. Lilith came and sat on my chest, and she was meditating with me as well. And the two of us, we were connecting. And there was some stuff that was coming up that I needed to transmute energetically. I was feeling it. And it was like in my stomach, and I wasn't feeling very good. Like, it was like moving around and needing to be purged. And once I recognized that and understood what it was and started to, kind of work through that in my mind and in my body, and was feeling like, okay, I know what this is. I know what I need to do. I'm ready to transmute it. She felt it. I'm sure of it. And she got up, jumped down off my bed, and threw up. And then just kind of went on her way. And it really felt like she had taken whatever was coming up out of me that needed to be purged, that needed to be transmuted. She took that energetically and then physically released it. Absolutely felt like that. I recognized it, I felt better afterwards. I didn't have that feeling anymore. It was gone. And cats, familiars of any kind, absolutely have this ability to connect with us on these electromagnetic frequencies. This is how we communicate. This is how animals communicate with each other, seemingly telepathically, or actually telepathically. It's through frequency, it's through vibration, it's through electromagnetism and electromagnetic communication. And that, I feel like that's exactly what happened there. And like, here's an example. If you are sad, you're experiencing some sort of heavy, denser emotion, your familiar, your pets absolutely pick up on that, and they are going to help you to move through it energetically. They are Reiki masters. They are energy workers. They are shamans. Your familiar is going to help you to transmute whatever energy, any blockages, any areas that are stuck or stagnant. They will absolutely help you with that. And they will show you how they do it as well. Animals, familiars, creatures of all kinds are masters at regulating, self-regulation, co-regulation as well. And it's really special what they can teach us. So spiritual protection, spiritual guides, Reiki masters, Zen masters, master meditators, you name it. Having a familiar in your life is enriching, it's empowering, it's also going to help you along your spiritual journey and your path. There are so many reasons to have a familiar, especially if you are doing deep shadow work, if you are doing any kind of rituals where you are looking to shift your own energy or raise the vibration of the collective, of humanity. When you're doing those sorts of things, it is very important for you to have a team with you, a team of your spirit guides and your soul family, your soul tribe, but also working with Mother Nature and the elements and her creatures. I firmly believe that that's why we're here, and that's why we're able to build these kind of bonds. Haven't you always thought how wild it is that we can build such deep relational, reciprocal bonds with creatures that we seemingly have nothing in common with? We don't speak the same language, we do not look the same, and yet they are some of our best friends and closest bonds, and for not only for us but for them as well. Like, it's so beautiful, the connection that we can create. But how wild is that? I just think, there's got to be something to it. And it's not only for us, it's for them, and it's for this experience that we're here in this spiritual battle, in this crazy experience of life. We need to use all the tools that are at our disposal. And absolutely a familiar is one of those. And I am so blessed and I'm so grateful for the familiars that I've had and that I currently have in my life. And I don't know what I would do without them. Honestly, I can't even think about it. Seriously, thinking about losing my cats just makes me so emotional. So I'm not going to go there. But I'm really interested in knowing, do you have a familiar, and what has been your experience with your familiars, and is what I'm saying resonating, and is there anything that I've missed? And or if you don't have a familiar, has this made you thought of getting one? There are many people that I work with that, don't have a pet or have had in the past and don't anymore. And I absolutely recommend to them, you need to get a pet. You need to have a familiar. It doesn't matter what kind of creature, it's very personal to you. But regardless of, like, I'm not saying that, oh, everyone needs to get a cat. I don't think so. Only certain people, well, a lot of people, but that might not be right for you. For example, I am a cat person, I'm a spider person. I don't necessarily like, I like dogs. I love all animals, but for me, I don't connect the same way with the dog. I don't speak their language as well as I speak the language of cats. That's just me. But for like one of my best friends, for example, dogs all the way. She loves her doggies and has such an unbreakable bond with them. And you can absolutely see it, and it's beautiful. And I just love that she has that connection. And I 100% encourage you to have that connection as well if you don't already. And if you do, amazing. Let me know about it. And if you don't, maybe tell me why. And, or if this, like I said, if this has made you think of, oh, I need to get a familiar, what kind of familiar would you get? I want to know. All right. I think I've exhausted this topic. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if this resonated with you, or if you want to share this with someone, please do. Do all the things, like, share, subscribe, all of that. And I'll see you in the next one.